Football will forever be the beautiful game, giving us the highest of highs and a reason to smile. But the passion and goodies do come with a dark side of drama, controversies, and many more unfortunate events. Every year, stars rise to the top of the game and leave their mark in our memories. But every other year, the reverse also happens. Stars fall off the top for several reasons, especially injury and off-the-pitch drama. In fact, some stars fall off so hard that it looks like they disappeared and we never hear from them again. Welcome to Football Pro. In this video, we're going to talk about 10 footballers who disappeared in 2022 and where they are now. This channel is dedicated to bringing you awesome, regular content in and around the beautiful game of football. Let's dive in. Dele Alli. For a better part of the decade, Dele Alli was the toast of Tottenham. He was in the form of his life and became a main actor in the Spurs side that reached the 2018 UCL final. That summer of 2018, he also played an important role in England's run to the World Cup final. But it has all been a slippery slope since then. Dele's on-field power waned as he went through a bunch of injuries, drama, and the likes until he got to a point of no return. In the 2022 January transfer window, Dele was made available for transfer, and he completed a free move to Everton where he played under Frank Lampard. It looked to be a new start for the English superstar, but he could not perform as expected. He was sent to Besiktas on loan in the summer, and Dele still couldn't make an impact in the Turkish league. So, if you were wondering where Dele was, he's currently out of favor at Besiktas, lounging on the bench for most games, and may pop up in one or two headlines for the most absurd reasons. The Hazards. Football looked like it would become a family business when Thorgan Hazard started tearing it up at Borussia Mönchengladbach. His brother, Eden Hazard, was already one of the world's best attackers with multiple accolades to his name. In the summer of 2019, something wonderful happened. Both brothers completed incredible transfers to some of the best clubs in the world. Eden became the latest Galactico in town and his brother joined the Yellows of Dortmund. What a time to be alive for the family. But it has not gone as planned since then. Eden Hazard might have won 6 trophies since he arrived in Madrid, but he has only managed to play 74 matches for Real, many of them as a substitute. He's scored just 7 goals and 12 assists in his 4 years in the Spanish capital, falling far below his mark. Thorgan had a better time at his new club with 20 league goals and assists in his first season, but that didn't last for long. His performances continued to plummet until he became a permanent part of the bench mob, like his brother. Eden still remains under contract with Real Madrid, spending most of his time on the bench or at home while his brother, Thorgan, spent the season on loan at PSV where he has failed to make an impact. Gareth Bale. Wales, golf, Real Madrid, in that order. The Welsh Dragon created some juicy memories, some of which Los Blancos fans hate and many of which they will cherish forever. Bale will forever be immortalized for scoring that crazy goal against Barcelona, scoring the golden goal of La Decima, and that UCL final performance against Liverpool. In 2022, he won his 5th Champions League trophy and finally departed Real Madrid. But he wasn't done yet. After sending Wales to their first World Cup in 64 years, Bale was going to lead his country to the tournament in Qatar. He signed for LAFC halfway during the MLS season, but he had enough time to deliver another crazy moment, scoring the last-minute equalizer in the Cup final. In November, he scored his country's first World Cup goal since 1958, but Wales did not make any impact at the tournament. But the Welsh Dragon had seen it all. He retired after the tournament. So, don't you worry about Gareth Bale. He is basking in the sunlight and playing some great golf like he always wanted to. Paul Pogba. The days of Pogba are long gone. A couple years ago, the Frenchman broke the world record transfer fee for a return to Old Trafford and delivered the Europa League in his first season. United fans were over the moon for the future, but they got a sad reality check. After an era filled with drama and injuries, Pogba had seen enough. In the 2022 summer transfer window, he left on a free transfer to rejoin Juventus, where he started his rise as an elite footballer. But his return has been riddled with injuries and a dose of drama. The Pogba sequel has not worked out well for anyone involved. Juventus had quite the rocky season, while Pogba was in and out of the hospital. Nobody knows where he will go from here. Get well soon, Paul. N'Golo Kante. For many years, we were used to the sight of a tireless engine running Chelsea's midfield. Sadly, that era seems long gone. Just 2 seasons ago, the Blues of London clinched the greatest prize of European football with Kante at the center of it all. This season has been horrible for Chelsea, who are grateful to have escaped relegation, but even worse for Kante, the midfield marshal. Like his French teammate Pogba, Kante's season has been one to forget. Spending a whole term between hospitals and the bench is a nightmare for any footballer. But for a player like Kante, it seems like he's disappeared completely after being at the top for so long. Luis Suarez is one of the greatest strikers of this era, and a very polarizing figure too. After winning a league title with Atletico Madrid, the Barcelona legend spent another season in the Spanish capital before he returned home to Uruguay. Back in his homeland, he chose to sign for his boyhood club, Nacional. Even though his best years are behind him, the notorious marksman still had enough firepower to play at the World Cup. The tournament did not go as planned, but Suarez was not tired just yet. After the tournament, he moved to Grêmio in Brazil, where he has won 2 trophies already. Oh, by the way, a lot of hard work and care goes into these videos. So if you could help us out and click that lovely subscribe button, we'd greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up too. Dani Alves. For most footballers, the road seems straightforward. Be the best you can be on the pitch, gather the accolades, and have a peaceful retirement. However, Dani Alves had the other side of things. After completing his enviable career in Europe with over 40 trophies, he moved back to his native Brazil, where signed for Sao Paulo. In January 2022, a 38-year-old Dani Alves defied age and made his return to Europe with Barcelona on a 1-year contract. After the season ended, he would go to Mexico to play for Pumas, but his fairy tale ending would come crashing down after he got arrested by the police for sexual assault in Spain. Dani Alves has been detained since January 2023 and is currently awaiting trial. Not what you would expect for one of the most decorated players in football history. Mauro Icardi. Icardi was once the shining light in the dark tunnel of the Giuseppe Meazza. In 2018, he scored 29 goals to help Inter Milan secure their first Champions League spot in ages. Today, Inter Milan has qualified for the UCL final for the first time in 13 years, and Mauro Icardi is nowhere to be found. Another Argentine striker has taken his place to lead the Nerazzurri to glory. The man who used to be Inter's most prized jewel has become a marksman for Galatasaray in Turkey. After leaving Inter for PSG in 2020, Icardi has been in and out of headlines as his focus massively shifted from football, especially all the drama with his ex-wife and agent, Wanda Icardi. But his 17 goals might have just lifted Galatasaray to a long-awaited league title. So we can say it is not the end of the road for Mauro Icardi. Nicolas Pepe. Pepe arrived in North London with the hype and promises of a world-class attacker, but he sadly crumbled in the Premier League. He managed only 112 appearances with 48 goals and assists for the Gunners. Later on, his poor performances led him to fall out of favor under new boss Mikel Arteta. Pepe's time at the Emirates came to a pause in 2022 after a loan move to Nice in France. It is still unclear how the Arsenal journey ends for the Frenchman, who has made some good impact in France. Nicolo Zaniolo. Zaniolo seemed to have begun a legacy at AS Roma by scoring the only goal in the first-ever Conference League final to secure the club's very first European title. The 23-year-old attacker seemed to be entering the peak of his powers and was on his way to becoming a god in Rome, but things went haywire. Zaniolo's attitude got in the way of his success, and his performances dwindled. Not giving your best under Jose Mourinho is a recipe for disaster, and the veteran manager was having none of his shenanigans. In January 2023, the youngster had gotten to a point of no return and forced a move to Galatasaray. Since his arrival in Turkey, his performances have not gotten any better. Although he might win his first-ever league title in Turkey, Zaniolo's future is in big doubt. Thanks so much for sticking around until the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed it. But why stop now? Click this video right here for more awesome content.